All right. So I'm actually going to I'm actually here, not outside yakking away with everybody. So I'm going to introduce Nina on this one. She and I met last year. So out at DEF CON, in the middle of the desert, in the middle of the summer, 40,000 hackers get together and try to...
That's not actually true. We met here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we did.
You're a liar.
I'm useless. Sorry, I failed. I did cause chaos at the Biohacking Village. It was fun.
A little bit.
That is true. So I am going to shut the hell up, and I'm going to introduce you to Nina, who's going to have some fun with some amazing other biomed tech stuff. So please give her a warm welcome.
Hi. 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 Awesome. Thank you. I just want to make sure everybody's awake and such. So I'm Nina. I have a couple of questions. So first, how many of you work in security? Okay. How many of you work in healthcare? Okay, like 7-ish. How many of you are patients or caretakers? Okay, so actually all of the hands should be up because everyone in this room is a patient. And last question is, how many of you know about DEF CON or have been to DEF CON? Okay. Yes. Should I go over what it is really quickly? Yes, okay. So DEF CON is North America's largest hacker conference. It's held annually in Las Vegas. So I am the executive director of the Biohacking Village, and the Biohacking Village does all the things that are related to biotechnology and security and how they relate. So I have a confection. I have all the legitimate bona fides. I have master's degrees, blah, blah, blah. But I'm also a good hacker, and I promise, and I brought proof. That's my dad. That's my mom. So let me tell you why they're up there. My father is in uniform. He was a paramedic captain for the fire department of New York, and he was at 9/11 when the buildings came down. My mother had one of the rarest cancers in the world. My parents are both alive, current state, because of medical technology. So Bo went over a couple of the current issues that we have. Funding and human resource poor. There's not a lot of folks in medical security because it doesn't pay well, blah, blah, blah. MedTech is primarily run by guidances, not so much on the regulations. It's more like, go do a thing, protect the patients, yay. Hospitals are 24/7, 365 entities, which means how do you really run a really good security protocol on something that you can't turn off and turn back on? Patients, people, well, I'm going to see that again. People involved in this are the patients and physicians. We have to take those people into consideration when we're making these products. And legacy and new devices are all integrated into that medical ecosystem, which makes it really hard to secure some things on certain levels and some things on the other levels and then bring them together. And it's all about perspective, as you can see. So I wanted to change the dynamic of what people were talking about. Mine is about technology, but more from the patient side. So DIY biologists and citizen scientists are folks that take their own healthcare and make it their own and make their own products to help them do better because they can't afford it. Insurance issues, medical device manufacturers aren't making exactly what they need, or they want that responsibility for themselves. So this is Rich Lee, awesome human being. He is starting to lose his hearing, so what he did was put a magnet in his tragus, which is right here, and he wears a necklace that has copper in it, and he can feel the vibrations of when people are speaking to him. So he can turn to you while you're talking to him and then have a conversation. Some of these pictures are gory. I should have warned you. Boom, I warned you. You're welcome. So this is this Arcadia. This measures body temperature, heart rate, all of these things. This was made by Tim Cannon at Wetware Grindhouse. They have since made this much smaller, so that picture took about, it's about that big and about that thick. So it's much smaller now, it's about that big, and they're using it on cattle to detect their health while they're in the field. This is the Eyeborg. He was in a, so this is Rob Spence. He was in a gunshot accident, lost his eye. He's also a movie maker, so he thought, I don't need Google Glass. I'm gonna make an eyeglass that will record my life. So he literally has black glass. Is it black glass? Black mirror in his eye, and he can see what he does all day and records it and shows it. Is this interesting? Okay. Who wants one? Let's do that. No? Not so much? Okay, picture is awesome. We're going to talk about it. This is Neal Harbison. So he was born colorblind. And what he did was he wanted to get an implant, put it in his head, and now when people speak to him, he hears in color. He's synesthetic now. So he lost a sense, gained 2 extra. And on his passport, he is Britain's first cyborg. This is the Vivo key. How many of you know about the chips that go in the hands and you can open doors and do all these magical things? A couple of you. How many of you have them? Just me. Awesome. Okay. If you want to come feel them, they're in my hands. You can touch them later. So Dangerous Things made these. The ones that are currently in my hands are very small. They hold like the key cards when you get into work. So I don't need to necessarily bring my key card. I can just go like this because I forgot it. I'm in the building. What these will do are a bit more than that now. They will hold your identity inside. So not just your work card. It will also hold your credit card, some other data inside. The person that made these, Amal, he and I worked on another project, so I have one of the original Vivo keys in my arm if you want to feel that as well. Forthy's Vinegar Collective. How many of you have an allergy that you know of? Okay. So, are you familiar with EpiPens? Yeah? How much do they cost? Yes, for everybody except the Americans. So it's about $300 for Americans to get these things. I hate pictures, so just gonna pose it out. Okay, so it's about $300 for the Americans to get these EpiPens. So what Forthy's Vinegar Collective did, this is Michael Loffer, an amazing human being, was create the EpiPencil. This was made for $30, literally almost the exact same thing as the EpiPen, and it's refillable for $5. So people that have these EpiPens, they expire, I believe, within 2 years. They can now get these and have them on hand in case something happens to them. The other thing is, over here, is this simple rudimentary chemistry set. And what they're starting to do is make different medications. So one of the medications that they've started to make is Daraprim, which is for HIV, and the other one is Plan B. So if you ever go to a conference where he's at, he usually gives them out, and they're just as viable as the medication you would get overseas. I'm going to ask this question. You could keep the answer to yourself because it's PHI. So any diabetics in the room, don't raise your hand. Do any of you have those systems that the needle goes in you and you have the battery and you can check it and it lets you know and it puts the insulin inside you? Those things are expensive. So what she did was create the open pancreas system. And again, rudimentary, I believe it's within Arduino, right up here, with all of the models and the algorithms inside. And it releases the insulin inside her, and she can watch it through her watch. So the biohackers work a little differently. We keep ourselves and our information open because we want to be criticized. We're open to that because at the end of the day, there's a patient, and we're one of those patients, and we have to make sure that everybody within that ecosystem can be taken care of. That's it. That was fast. We're good? No, we're good.